Welcome to another informative episode of ButchCrafting with your favorite homo. Grab your tool belt, strap it on, and settle in. We're going to learn some shit together. Here you go. Hey guys, guess who it is? It's the dude.
What?
No, I'm just playing. It's the dinosaur. On this episode of ButchCrafting, we are going to talk about something so basic it seems like a no-brainer, yet people all over the world struggle with it. Either getting enough of it, having safe access to it, knowing how to protect it, and some people just hate it altogether. It's a limited resource a lot of us take for granted. That's right, we're going to be talking about water. Safe drinking water is a fundamental necessity for survival and a basic human right. So let's get into why we need clean drinking water. The most important reason is because it helps keep us alive. The average man should intake 15.5 cups or 3.7 liters of water per day, whereas the average woman only needs about 11.5 cups or 2.7 liters per day. Keep in mind, this is for a healthy person living in a temperate climate. As situations change, the need for intake may change as well. Probably it will. For instance, if you live on the brink of hell like me in Texas and it's freaking hot most of the year, then you're going to need to have more water in order to replenish what your body sheds throughout the day. If you sweat a lot from either a hot or humid climate or by overheating yourself at the gym, or maybe just working on a project that requires a lot of physical exertion, then you may need to be on top of your intake. Your body requires water for almost every process that it does. That includes bodily functions like breathing, perspiration, urination, and even bowel movements. I know, shitty, right? I know that some of you don't like drinking water. I hear it from a lot of people, actually. And I talk about water. I talk a lot about survival stuff and what we need in order to live. Like, I don't need my phone, but I do need water in order to survive. When we're talking about it, they'll say, like, I don't like it, it's gross, or, I don't like the way it tastes, or I hate drinking water, or I'm not good at it. But sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, suck it up, literally. If you're listening to this, you're my kind of people, most likely. And I'd kind of like for you to stick around on this planet for a little while. So drink your damn water. You can try flavoring it with fruit or fruit juice, preferably with 0 chemicals, preservatives, or anything else that your body doesn't need. I love water. I really love water. I drink it all day long, and I drink water or coffee. That's all that I drink. But sometimes it can get a little bit boring. So I try to, church it up a little bit. I either put organic fruit, like sometimes I do whole fruit, like a whole orange slices, or lemons, or apples even, or I'll squeeze like the orange or the lemon into the water, just to kind of freshen it up. It's delicious. I also use a lot of, something that I just thought of. A lot of people, it's quite common. People love cucumber water. Personally, I think it's so gross, but I don't like cucumbers in general. Like, ugh, gross. But for me, I try to use it in different ways. So I have some medical issues where I have inflammation throughout my body, and I also have issues with my lungs thanks to the sarcoidosis, which, fuck you, COVID, for that. So I try to use herbs in my water depending on what I've got going on. So if the air quality is shit in around here and I do live in a metropolitan area, then I'll try to put some mullein in there. Or, you know, I have this standard kind of this blend that I've put together that helps with those issues, with the inflammation throughout my body and the lung issues that I have. So what I do is I make a big jug of this tea each week. I make it super strong, so the jug is like concentrated. And then whenever I go to fill up my little water bottle, I just put, probably like a half a cup of that tea in there. And so it helps my body while it's hydrating my body. And I know that it's working because I feel it. So I'm able to kind of help those issues naturally so that I don't have to depend on over-the-counter medication or prescriptions as much. I do have to take some, but as much. I don't like if there's anything that I can do, naturally, organically, I certainly want to do that. I'd prefer that option over than just shoving pills down my throat. I don't want to have to rely on synthetic medicine coming into my body. Not to mention I don't fucking trust anybody. And, we don't even need to go there. But if y'all listen to the podcast, you totally understand where I'm coming from. Hang on just a second. I'm going to get a drink of water. So, like I was saying, if I stop drinking the tea that I make, I can literally feel the inflammation in my body. I can feel my lungs hurting. So I could go on for hours about herbs. I love herbs, but I'll move on for the sake of staying somewhat on topic because we all know that I love me some fucking rabbit holes. Let's talk about dehydration, which is the lack of water. So it's important to know the signs of dehydration, not only for yourself, but for your loved ones and anyone else you engage with, like coworkers or extended family or friends or fucking you see somebody that's struggling on, out at the store or whatever, be a decent fucking human being and help them. Try to, at least. If you want to, you don't have to, but I probably would. Dehydration is extremely important, especially whenever it comes to babies, children, and the elderly. And especially for that demographic, dehydration can be dangerous because it can happen fast. And even more so if other illness is involved. Like if you've got an elderly person with a respiratory infection, they need to be drinking their water, and it needs to be good, clean water. Which is something that we're going to talk about in just a little bit. So let's go over some general signs of dehydration. It can include extreme thirst, lack of urination, dark colored urine, dizziness, fatigue, and confusion. Personally, I have been dehydrated numerous times. I was so dehydrated. I was hallucinating. I was seeing like the grass was not green. I don't remember the color that it was, but it wasn't green. And the sky was like a pink color. So I knew that I had to drop what I was doing and get in the house and get some water and cool off. So what I did so that I could make sure that I get water is I got a water and I would take sips of it, just sips. I didn't get cold water because I didn't want my body to go into a shock. So I just got like regular water, like tepid water, and I would sip on that. But I also put a pack of frozen peas on the back of my neck, and then also a pack of frozen peas. And yes, I had clothes on, but in between my legs, because that's where women get hot in our core, and that is like the center of our being. So, with those two packs of frozen peas, I was able to cool myself down, but also hydrate. And it took me probably about a good hour to be able to know that I was okay, that I could go out and continue what I was doing. And then I just knew from then on I had to take more breaks to drink and to cool off. Like I said, I live in Texas and it gets brutal in the summer. I mean, the heat index can get up to 120 plus. So that sucks. And that's the main reason why we're looking at moving up north, because my wife and I, we just can't, our bodies can't handle the heat anymore. It's just so hot. But when it comes to babies, you can get a feel for dehydration. We have to, like, whenever we have children, or if we're taking care of a little one, we have to pay attention to their cues, because they can't express to us what they need or what they want. So, sometimes with babies and children, it's so hard to tell that they're dehydrated because they can't tell us. So the things that you would want to look out for, let me see. I guess, so crying, if they don't have any tears, like when they cry, they're just crying and crying, but there's no tears. They could have a dry mouth. They could be really tired, irritable, which I know is kind of hard to tell for a baby, but if it's your kid and you understand what your child is normally like, you're going to understand that there's something wrong, that you're going to know let's face it, whenever they're little, we're all up in their asshole anyway, right? What are they doing? Everything that they're doing, we want to know about. So it could be they could have like sunken cheeks, or if they haven't had a diaper that's been wet for, I think it's 3 or more hours, or sometimes even, and I've never seen this, but I've been told that they can get like I guess they've got a soft spot on the top of their head, and so they could get like an indentation on the top of their skull. Which, honestly, if that happened to me, I'd probably flip the fuck out. I would be like, I don't know what's wrong, but we're going to the hospital, so whatever. Here's the things that you need to seek medical attention for. If you or a loved one has diarrhea for more than 24 hours, if they can't keep fluids down, if they become irritable more than normal, disoriented more than normal, have you met me? Or is less active as usual, or becomes extremely sleepy, or even has bloody stools or black stools, that should be a definite concern. On the flip side of dehydration, it is possible to drink too much water. That's called water intoxication. It's also known as hyponatremia. If you drink a ton of water too fast, your kidneys might not be able to process the excess water. If that happens, the sodium level in your blood can get diluted, which can be life-threatening. Generally, our kidneys can process about 1 liter of water per hour. So as long as you aren't chugging it constantly, like beer in your college days, you should be good. If you're urinating frequently, you have nearly clear urine. So if you're peeing a lot, or if your urine is like almost clear, like you can't even tell that you went to the bathroom, or you start to get nauseous, begin to vomit, experience bloating, become disoriented, it's probably best to pump the brakes on your water intake. More serious symptoms of water intoxication may present as confusion, having seizures, slipping into a coma, and it could be lethal in some cases, which, fucking hell, I don't know the statistic on that, but 1 is enough. My water bottle like bubbles when I drink it, and it sounds like I'm ripping a bong, but I'm not, I promise. So something else that is tied to water intake is food. So let's talk about food. The food you can eat can also determine how much water you consume. For instance, tomatoes and spinach are almost 100% water by weight. So if you're eating a lot of tomatoes, a lot of spinach, then you're getting some water intake. Maybe you don't have to drink as much water, but as long as you've got foods that are made up of a lot of water, then that'll certainly help. If you don't feel like gorging yourself with tomatoes or spinach, you can have cucumbers, watermelon, celery, lettuce, cabbage, cooked squash. I mean, there's I found a table, and here's just an idea of what different foods and their water percentage makeup is. So water is, shockingly, it's 100% water. Why do they include that? I don't understand. So anyway, 90 to 99% water. These foods have 90 to 99% water. It's fat-free milk, cantaloupe, strawberries, watermelon, lettuce, cabbage, celery, spinach, pickles, and squash, if it's cooked. 80 to 89% fruit juice, yogurt, apples, grapes, oranges, carrots, broccoli, cooked, pears, and pineapple. So here's the thing with fruit juice. Sugar has 0 water in it. The same with oils. Oils have 0 water. So if you're going to drink a fruit juice, it needs to be like 100% natural, preferably organic fruit juice. It can't be like I got a little juice box, because that's, I'm sure there's a portion of that that's juice, but it's not fucking juice. That's shit. So just be really careful about what you put in your body. You know, if you want to take care of yourself, then take care of yourself. I know that it's not always possible, but do what you can. Every little bit helps. Bananas, avocado, cottage cheese, ricotta cheese, a baked potato, cooked corn, and shrimp have about 70 to 79% water in them. And then on the lower side, so we're just going to skip the middle. Butter, margarine, and raisins have 10 to 19%. Walnuts that are dry roasted, chocolate chip cookies, crackers, cereals, pretzels, taco shells, and peanut butter have about 1 to 9%. So I'm not saying that, and I don't think that this chart is trying to tell people not to eat oils or sugars or walnuts or chocolate chip cookies, because fuck that. Or taco shells, because eat a dick. I'm having tacos. But I think it's just saying that, you know, be aware of what you're putting into your body. And if you know that you're not going to actually drink water because you fucking hate it that much, then have some strawberries. Have a salad with spinach and, you know, drink some fat-free milk, or have some cottage cheese or some yogurt or some carrots or fucking oranges, or, you know, I'm going to have all of this information in the show notes so that you can go to these links and look at this stuff yourself. Another area that we need to be concerned about is we need water for managing personal hygiene. And yes, I understand that personal hygiene would include bathing and brushing your teeth and, you know, washing your hair and cleaning your clothes and all that. But having clean drinking water helps prevent a host of diseases. It helps prevent diarrheal diseases like dysentery. I mean, that's not funny, but I was thinking about, what is that fucking game? Oregon Trail, dysentery. Anyway, and cholera. It also helps prevent respiratory infections, introduction of parasites into the body, typhoid, Hep A, salmonella, polio, norovirus, rotavirus, and that's just to name a few. According to UNICEF, in 2022, a whopping 2.2 billion people lacked access to safely managed drinking water, and 771 million people lacked basic drinking water services. That affected primarily the underprivileged and those in rural areas, as they are least likely to have those basic services or have access to them. There's so much stuff that I want to go into, but I don't want this to be super long. So I am going to do a part 2. And in the part 2, we'll talk more about contamination, water pollution, water stress, water collection techniques to use in your home to maintain a safe drinking environment for you and your family, whether it's for everyday consumption or for survival situations, because y'all know I'm big on that. We'll also cover various websites where you can learn how to get your tap water tested and what water products are the least contaminated with either metals, microplastics, or other chemicals that we don't need to put in our body, or that we don't need to put that much of in our body. So be sure to go to the Dinosaur and the Dude podcast. So the Dinosaur&TheDude.com. And whenever you're going to your podcast app, whatever you use, Spotify, Apple, wherever, just make sure that you click on the notification option to be alerted when I drop the next segment. In the meantime, go check out the website. It's TheDinosaur&TheDude.com. Go to the Knowledge Emporium for the links on water-related products. I'm going to have the link of the specific button or the specific page linked to the show notes, because it's kind of tricky to get to. But you essentially just click the button that says more. It's on the top right next to the Shop Now button. Then click on Prepping and Homesteading, and you're going to find a water purification and water quality sections. So I know that was a lot of information, but it's important information. And honestly, I don't think that it really qualifies as butchcraft, but it kind of does, because you're going to need that. You have to have that in order to survive. And being a crafty butch, water is important to me. So therefore, I would categorize it as butchcrafting. I don't know if that makes sense, but in my head it does. So we're good to go. Anyway, I just ran out of water and I'm super thirsty. So now I'm going to go grab a refill. Y'all have a rest of a good damn day, and come back to get the rest of the info on segment 2 of H2WHOA.